Alexa Lavoie for Rebel News, and today I offer you an update on the Provost case. I had the chance to run into him on February 24th during one of the events of Christine Anderson. For those who have not been following the full story of the Professor Patrick Provost, let me explain briefly. Provost is a mRNA professor and researcher at Laval University. Many of his research and discoveries have contributed to the advancement of research and have been praised by his peers. During the pandemic, Mr. Provost raised concern about mRNA vaccination, especially the risk it has towards children. On December 7, 2021, Mr. Provost took part in a conference involving several doctors and scientists produced by Réinfo COVID Québec, which was broadcast on various social media platforms. As a result of a complaint filed against him by a colleague in his research area, he was suspended for 8 weeks without pay on June 14, 2022. On July 14, following the suspension, Patrick Provost was invited for an interview on Choix 98.1 Radio X. In this broadcast, Mr. Provost reiterated his position on children vaccination. Another complaint was filed on the university portal against these comments on July 18. The complaint, this time, citizen, was deemed admissible, and an investigation committee established on October 25th, 2022, found the complaint acceptable and suspended on January 23, Mr. Provost, for 4 months without pay. Patrick Provost, with the assistance of his union, filed a grievance against Laval University decision on the professor suspension. In total, 10 days of hearing will be held in front of an arbitration tribunal chaired by Rosaire Wood to hear the grievance filed by Mr. Provost to contest the validation of the 8-week suspension without pay imposed by Laval University. Recently, Patrick Provost was facing a third complaint that would likely have led to his dismissal. From a scientific article published in pre-publication in the journal Research Square. Following that, Mr. Provost gave his version of the event to the representative of Laval University and was later exonerated of his charge on February 14. That is the day after Laval University received a copy of the letter in support of Patrick Provost, written and signed by 281 professors at Laval University. Today, it's giving us an update of his situation.
We stand for freedom of speech.
My case has been getting more and more complex over the last weeks. And so just briefly, I've been suspended for 8 weeks without pay last June. And then in this January, I was suspended again, but now for 4 months without pay. And so both suspensions will be debated in front of an arbitrator starting at the end of April. But what's encouraging is the last complaint I had has been abandoned by Université Laval. I think that it may look positive for the future.
So why do you think the university did drop the last complaint?
Well, I think that because the complaint was just based on etiquettes, like anti-vax and complotist. And so, but I think that the key, that a letter, a supporting letter from my colleagues was really important in that matter. You know, 281 professors signed a letter in support of my situation, and it was sent to the president of the university the day before her decision to just let go the last complaint. So I think the solidarity between university professors is really important, and if we stick together, we have a chance, you know, to make the university think about what she's doing right now.
What is the process of the Laval University to get into if they are going to suspend you or going to fire you from your position?
Yeah, so the entire process is handled by the university itself and does not involve the union of the professors. And so when the university receives comments from the public, it considers it as a possible complaint. And the conditions to make a complaint acceptable are really minimal. And so in my case, what they have been doing over the last year is to systematically accept these comments as complaints. And then after that, they asked me to give my view, version des faits, my side of the story, in front of employees of the university who are just noting down what I've been saying, without engaging in any discussion or questions or exchange with people in position of decision. And then after, they set up an inquiry meeting, presided by a lawyer, and to which 2 experts were recruited each time. And so these committees that have been set up for each complaint, then they led an inquiry on my case, and then they produced a report, a kind of 40 pages report, saying how wrong I was. And then based on these reports, the university suspended me twice. And in these situations, the experts who were sitting on these committees, they are just university professors like me, with their expertise, just like me, just different from mine. But instead of engaging in a debate, a collegial debate within professors, Université Laval are just taking these professors who share their point of view, and they are all pro-narrative and pro-vaccine. And so they place these researchers in their committee and placing them in position of authority on me. And so they can impose their opinion on mine. And so this, in the heart of the university, it is completely against the mission of the university, which is acquisition of knowledge, transfer of knowledge, and also engaging in debates and accepting the diversity of opinions. And this is the only way that we can come to the best comprehension of a situation as complex as the COVID crisis, and also to inform the governments so that they can take the best decision for the people.
Do you think it's a kind of a repression of the science?
Clearly. So science has been used by politics and by cherry picking mainly, instead of the science being led objectively, widely, and from the science led by really authentic and real researchers, then they can produce knowledge that will guide political decisions. But what we have seen so far for over the last 3 years are political decisions that are taken, and then the science is sought to support these decisions that have already been taken for us. And so that's something that needs to be reversed, so that we have really politics that is based on science and not using cherry-picked science.
So we know that your case is public. Everybody know about it. We know that you have a lot of haters in this world. Are you worried that maybe some group of individuals just come together and attack you with many complaints to the university and make your case worse?
Well, maybe that is already the case. The last 2 complaints have been filed by citizens. So I don't know if they were solicited by the university or whether an organization is behind this, so that we don't know. But it's curious because you don't know if other professors have received complaints. Because when a professor receives a complaint, usually they will keep that very quiet and they behind closed doors. And professors are asked and even required to sign confidentiality agreements so that this does not come public. In my case, I refused to sign any confidentiality agreement because I deemed that it was going to be worse for me than if I were to sign them. And so that's why, you know, I can come out of the university and inform the public all about the process that I'm going through or the university is bringing me through.
So do you think it's they are doing to make you an example to other professors?
Yeah, I believe so. Because, you know, they really are on my case to shut me down. And by doing that, it's clearly a message to the other professors that if you express yourself publicly against the narrative, the dominant narrative, then you may be subject to disciplinary measures and even lose your salary and maybe get fired ultimately. So this is very dangerous because the mission of the university is really based on academic freedom and also freedom of speech. And if professors are not able to do that anymore, they are not university professors anymore. And so I'm afraid that it is still time to save our universities and so that they keep their mission to serve the people first, but for that we have to, you know, protect academic freedom, and this is very important for the entire society.
So those experts, scientists and doctors, we want to hear from them. We want to hear their expertise on the topic, but we need to stop the censorship. So please, if you want, you can sign our petition at stopmedicalsilencing.com. Sign it, share it, make a difference. We want to hear our expert.